This is Monica Kelsey from Beyond the Box. We're in the studio today with a birth mom who is going to tell her story in her words. Stick around. Welcome to Beyond the Box with Monica Kelsey.
See you.
Good. It's good to have you here. It's welcome to Woodburn.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
awesome here.
Yeah, you're in the studio.
Flat country.
Flat. Yeah, this is a big flat. Yeah, it is flat country. I'm not gonna even kid.
And the windmills. That's been my favorite part.
The windmills,
Yeah.
they just add a lot to scenery.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you just see these big blades spinning in the air all the time and really don't know what it does
Yeah.
for us. But,
Mhm.
you know, they say it saves us money or saves somebody money, and it's not me probably. So,
It's okay.
well, thank you for coming
Thanks for
to
having me.
Woodburn. We appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So a lot of people don't know who you are.
No.
No. And so why don't you give just a small introduction about why you're so important to Monica Kelsey?
Yeah. I am a birth mother who lovingly surrendered my baby into Safe Haven Baby Box.
Does that sound weird to say?
Out loud, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because it's like, now it's like I'm actually able to speak about it, but it's a good thing.
You know, I've watched you for the last couple of months. You know,
Yeah.
we've got to know each other pretty well. We've met a few times, and I have to say, you have this personality that I think is just infectious. That people just want to know you.
Yeah.
And when people find out your story, it's like it just shows how strong you truly are.
Yeah.
And so that's what I want to focus on today.
Yeah.
I want to focus on your story. I want to focus on, you know, where you found us, where you see us, you know, what you've done, not what you've done, because we kind of know what you've done, but
Yeah.
but the ins and outs, the
Yeah.
little things that people might not know. And so let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
And so when did you even hear the words Safe Haven Baby Box? Like,
Yeah, it wasn't honestly long before I gave birth. I feel like it's perceived as though like the thought was like drawn out, or like I had been planning this, or that birth mothers in general like plan. And some might, but in my case, I was scrolling on TikTok and I found, like, it was on my main page, and the "What's in the Orange Bag" video popped up, and that's like, I clicked on it and I was like, I had always known about Safe Haven law, but I had never known that the baby boxes were a thing. And so then I clicked on a video, and the video right before that was a video of you thanking a birth mother. And so I started watching that, and I was like, what is this? And so TikTok, I just started watching video after video after video. And I feel like even once I found your TikTok, like, I still did not have it solid in my mind that that's what I was going to do until after I gave birth.
and so you've seen us on TikTok
Mhm.
and you're wondering, what the heck is this lady talking about? You know, because a lot of people, they didn't know about the box. You know, they
Yeah.
knew the Safe Haven law, but they're like, what is this box thing?
Yeah, they had no idea. I was like the same way. And at the time of when I surrendered, I think there was only 2 in my state. So I don't think it was like well known, and maybe it wasn't, the algorithm wasn't right on my
Maybe.
TikTok. I don't know. But yeah, when I started scrolling, I was like, oh, this is like a big deal. Like, these things are everywhere. And so once I like really started like researching it, I was like, okay, maybe like this is, you know, I feel like handing over a surrendered baby to someone at a medical facility or a fire station, like, it's so nerve-wracking that like people don't want to use that option, because you're actually having to like face another human. And it's almost, it like doesn't make you feel degraded in a way, but almost just like ashamed of like having to actually hand your baby over to someone. And so that is like one of the main reasons that I chose Safe Haven Baby Box, is because it was like, I knew that someone would get to my baby immediately. It wouldn't take long, and, like, the education that you provided on TikTok is, like, truly, like, the main reason that I chose Safe Haven.
So, how far along were you when you found out you were pregnant?
16 weeks.
16 weeks.
Mhm.
So, when you found out, did you ignore the signs? Did you
I was
accept
in
the signs?
complete denial the entire time. Until I gave birth, I was in complete denial. I feel like I was, not that I feel, I was in a really, really low place mentally. I felt like the entire world was crashing down around me. Like, outside of it, finding out that I was pregnant, like, my outside world had been just completely torn apart. And so on top of that, then I find out I'm pregnant, and that was a rush of hormones on top of, everything else. And I was like, there's no way I can do this. Like, I've mentally cannot take one more thing, or I'm gonna, like, I was treading water, and I knew I would drown if there was, like, one more thing added to my plate. And that sounds so selfish in a way, but, like, by surrendering, I know for a fact I saved her, and it saved me.
That's beautiful. So, you go through the pregnancy, not telling anyone,
Yeah.
right? And hiding it and kind of ignoring it.
Yeah.
Until you can't ignore it anymore. And so
Yeah.
tell me about the night that you went into labor.
Yeah, I was at home, and I've said this entire time, like, now that I've had more time to, like, talk about it with people, and it's become more of, like, a reality, and the conversations have happened, like, everything that night happened the way God intended it to. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. I went into labor at home. I was alone, which was rare. Um, Again, another, like, weird thing that happened that doesn't normally happen. And I knew that I was close, to having my baby and going into labor, but I did not know an exact day. And my water broke that night, so I was like, "Okay, this is the real deal." Like, and I had been Googling, like, phases of labor, and, like, what to do during labor, those kinds of things. Um, and so I got in the bathtub, and I was like, "This is the real deal." Like, I'm about to have a baby, like, and I still feel at that point, I was still in denial, like, and still had not decided that I was gonna surrender. Like, I feel like even during my labor, I was just so focused on, like, making sure that she was safe once I had her and healthy, and that nothing was wrong with her. Like, I remember even Googling videos, like, on how to suction a baby's mouth, like, what am I gonna do if, like, something's wrong with her? And
So you were Googling all this
yeah,
while you were in labor.
yeah. Just because I was like, there's no way I can call a medical professional and tell them, like, I'm at home about to have a baby, like,
Why couldn't you tell someone? Well, I mean, what was your fear?
I don't I truly just felt like if I had told someone, like, the reality of, like, knowing that I was just so far deep into a hole mentally, like, people were gonna be like, "Oh, you're fine, like, you're tough, you can handle it, like, there's nothing wrong," like, I just felt so alone, and, like, I had nobody to turn to. And if that's one thing, like, I could go back and tell myself is, like, you have a world of people out there that you don't even know exist and would do anything in the world for you. All you have to do is pick up the phone, you know? And I had like, scrolling back on Safe Haven's TikTok, like, I didn't know there was a hotline. Now I do, but I didn't then. And, like, knowing that, it's almost like I wish I would have just called and been like, "Can somebody just talk to me?" Or, like, "Is there somebody that I can talk to that will give me some kind of advice?" And not necessarily tell me what to do or what decision to make, but, like, give me some kind of advice or help, or, like, "You're okay and it's okay," that kind of thing. But once I had her at home, I had Googled everything, like how to uncut the umbilical cord, how to tie it off, like, all of those things. Google is pretty much the only reason I knew what to do that night.
So you give birth to her
Mm-hmm.
and you clean her up after watching YouTube videos. Do you cradle her? Do you
Yeah.
love her?
Yeah. I had clothes at home. And so I had cleaned her up, like, and knowing, like, watching videos and things like that, like, I kinda already knew what to do, and I think that's, like, something that I've circled back on when people ask me that question is, like, it is a mother's instinct to know what to do.
Well,
Like,
we all had home ec in high school too. I mean, you had to carry this baby around, and
yeah.
change the diaper and stuff like
Mhm.
that in high school,
Yeah.
to get ready for the real world. And
Yeah.
that was 35 years ago for me, and I'm sure they're still doing it.
Yeah. Like, I had all the things that she needed, like, to be able to make sure, like, and I knew, like, this is just so crazy to even talk about, but, like, she cried, so I knew that she had plenty of oxygen, like, those were, like, things that, like, they were saying, like, "Oh, if they're crying, they're okay," like, if there's she wasn't blue, like, there was just so many that worked out so perfectly, like, she was healthy, and just God had his hand on me that night, and that is, like, the only explanation I can give people, and some people are like, "Oh, that's so cliche," but, like, I would not have made it through that night without God's hand on her and I.
Mhm. It's amazing how that works.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long did you hold her before you left with her?
6 hours.
6 hours.
Almost to the exact hour.
6 hours, and you
Mhm.
just loved on her.
Yeah. Yep, I got in my bed. I was like, because I still, like, didn't know, like, if I was bleeding or, like, I was still trying to figure out what I was gonna do for myself, like, and so I laid in my bed and I was like, ha I cried a lot in that 6 hours, um, and I prayed a lot because I was like, "I just need God to give me the clarity of, like, what to do," and I don't think that's something that I've probably talked about enough is, like, how much I depended on an answer from God that night, and He truly gave me, like, the clarity and wisdom I needed to be able to make the decision to, like, keep her safe, and yeah, I did. 6 hours I laid around, and I was like, "I I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I feel like he's telling me to do this, and there's just no reason I found this, like, a week before the TikTok page, like, I found this a week before I'm having a baby, and now, like, I feel like God's telling me that that's what I need to do."
And so you got in your car and you packed her up
Yep,
and you drove to a box.
I did. Yep, and even once I on my drive there, like, I had constantly felt like I need to turn around, like, and I feel like that was just, like, my self-guilt kicking in.
Well, I don't think I mean, I think it's just normal. I think,
Yeah.
anybody that is making such a big, decision,
Mhm.
I think it's just reality is to second guess yourself.
Yeah, but I knew in my gut, like, I, like, circle back to, like, I I couldn't I couldn't give her what she needed at that time, I think about, like, now, and I've if I could go back and tell myself one thing, it was, like, "It's what you're doing is okay." Like, "You just need help, and it's okay, and what you're doing is not shameful, and how you feel is valued, and it's okay to be heard, and you're loved," And driving down there, I've had so much self-guilt, but it's like you said, I think that's just, like, human nature,
Mhm.
because even once I got down there, like, there's this main highway that is close to the box, and I drove that highway for an hour before I even turned down the road where the fire station was, and even once I got to the fire station, there's a road that has houses across the street, and then the fire station. Um, I sat across from this fire station forever and just sobbed because I was like, "Is this truly what I need to do?" Like, is this is this gonna, you know, is this gonna solve the problem? I don't know, but she will be safe, and she will be loved, and she will be cared for, and I couldn't give her that at that time, and I will always love her, but I couldn't mentally I couldn't. And I just don't feel like there's another explanation, like people are like, well, why did you do it? And I think God gave her to me because someone else needed her.
So do you feel like Christ spoke to you that night? I mean, looking back on it now?
Yeah, I truly do. And I think, like I've said this entire time, like he would never have given me anything that I couldn't handle. And I think that he knew that I couldn't take on one more thing. That's why, he led me or I found safe haven because I couldn't take on another thing. And someone could love her and give her the things that she needed at that time. And safe haven gave me the opportunity to give that to someone. So, but even once I placed her in the box, it still was a decision. Like, is this the right thing to do? I sat across the road back in my car for probably another 30 minutes. I watched the rescue leave with her and head to the hospital. And I drove home. And even after, I was like, I just need to go back, But then I kind of, not that I became at peace with the situation, but like shortly, probably a week after, like I started seeing like more things on Safe Haven on my TikTok, and your video came up about thanking the birth mother, and it was the video about
You.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I was like,
so what was going through your mind when you were watching that?
oh, I just started sobbing because I was like, this just like has finally become a reality to someone other than just me, like I was in denial for so long.
And we didn't know who you were.
No.
No, we had no idea who you were.
No, not until January of this year. Yeah. And so hearing the things that you said, like it just gave me a sense of peace. Like she is loved, she is cared for. Like she was meant to be in that box that night. She is already in the arms of the person she's meant to be with. And that just gave me a sense of peace and like a sense of hope that I knew that that's what was meant to happen.
So you walk up to the box.
Mm-hmm.
Does the orange bag fall out?
Yeah, it hit my feet. I had seen the video about what's in the orange bag, and as soon as I opened the box, it hit my feet. And I remember picking up the orange bag after I'd shut the door and taking it to my car, and I did not fill anything out on the paper. And for so long, that was like a thought in my mind, like I need to fill this out. Even like months after, like I need to fill this out. Like they want to know, if what happened or this and that, or somebody needs to know that she comes from whatever, like. And now that I've had the opportunity to talk with you or even other adoptive parents, like that was the first thing they asked me was like, we just want to know where she comes from, or we want to know what he looks like or where he gets this from, or if he has health concerns. Like, and I think that's one thing I regret is not filling out the paper in the orange bag. If like I could go back, I would have.
And so, talking to those adoptive families, I mean, well, did that bring you some peace? You were in such you had a smile on your face watching those kids run around that I have not seen at all.
Yeah. I think it almost was like it gave me reassurance, like I did the right thing. Just because I feel like a lot of the families, especially the ones that we saw, like I feel like any of them though, like just being around them, like that's where those children were meant to be. Like those were the families that were supposed to love them, and they love and cherish those kids like nothing I've ever seen. And it was like a sense of peace just came over me. And just being able to talk with them, like, I know that they have so many questions and, like, so many wonders of tons of different things, but, like, just being able to know that they love and care about birth moms too just as much, it's like, that's the one thing I wish I could tell any birth mom is, like, they love and care about you too. Like, they will never not love you and care about you. And like you said, those none of them were the baby that I surrendered, but they still loved me and cared about me just like I was their own. So, it was good.
And they did.
Yeah.
They did. And I mean, when we announced who you were there yesterday, and people were like, oh my goodness, because it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
We've not had somebody as strong as you are
Yeah.
step forward and say, I want to be their voice.
Yeah.
I want to be the voice for these moms.
Yeah.
You've been through this, you've had your heartbreak,
Yeah.
and you've done what you felt was best at the time, and now you're living it. And if you can just be just a small piece for someone else to find peace.
Yeah. I think that's been like the one thing that I've like come to realization with. Like, if I could give one birth mother the peace that I have gained in 3 months, I've won the battle 110%.
Why do you think you've gained so much peace over the last 3 or 4 months?
I think because no one knew for a very long time. And like, there's so much negative stigma behind Safe Haven Baby Box and birth mothers putting a baby in there. And I think like knowing that there is so much negativity behind it, like, I've found so much joy and hope on the other side of things, and that outweighs it by 1,000. Like, for every negative thing I hear, the positive and the people and the community and those adoptive parents and their children, like, it outweighs that 10 times over. And I think that's been like the one thing that's like pushed me to say, like, I want to be that voice for those birth mothers.
What's the one thing that you underestimated?
The love I would get from the people around me in this community. Strangers, complete strangers that I've met within 10 minutes, like, have loved and cared about me and shown me that more than people I've known my entire life. Like, it's so hard to even describe because, like, just yesterday, like you said, at the event yesterday, like, I've never had, besides, like, the one person in my life that has been there for me through this all, and that's, like, my best friend. She's picked me up off the floor more times than I can count through all of this. A complete stranger hugged my neck yesterday and was like, we love you and care about you, and you don't know how much it means to us that you're here. And that was like I said, like, such a wave of peace came over me. Because it's scary. Like, surrendering your baby is scary. The thought of doing it is scary. The thought of what people are going to say is scary. And it's not a good place to be when you're mentally just afraid. And to know that you have a world of people behind you don't even know about, and then you finally find that community, it's like they will fight for you tenfold without batting an eye.
We are your people.
I know. I know.
We are your people.
Yeah.
And when we tell you we got your back,
Yeah.
that's what we mean. And I think these last couple of months, I think we've shown that to you.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much that happens beyond the box.
Yeah.
People think that we're just driving women to boxes and putting their babies in them. And it's like, that's the farthest thing from the truth. There's so much good that happens before a woman gets to the box or after she chooses to utilize the box that people just don't understand how much we rally around these parents because we support their decision.
Yeah.
We're not telling you what to do. We've never told you what to do. We've just supported the decision that you've made, and we've rallied around you to show you that there is love on the other side of the box.
Yeah, and I think too, like, when this all first came out, like, and you messaged me, like, it was never like, "Can I help you?" in any like, what it was just straight up like, "I love you, I care about you, and I'm here for you. You don't have to answer me, but I'm here for you, and all you have to do is reach out," you know? And I think that was, like, the turning moment and, like, knowing that I had a world of people behind me. And even after all of this, like, in the last couple months since we've gotten to know each other, like, even your team, like, Jesse will randomly text me and just, "Are you okay?" Like, "How are you?" Like, "We love you and we care about you," kinda thing. And I think that just speaks volumes in itself, like, because it is such a scary time. Even after it happens, years after it happens, like, you still hold a lot of guilt, and to know that people love and care about you no matter what decision you felt like you had to make, they still have your back.
And we do.
Yeah,
And we do. And I hope we've shown that.
you have.
So, it's been a few years since you
Mm.
surrendered in one of our boxes. And um, how are you today?
Um, that's such a loaded question.
You didn't know I was going to ask you that, did
No.
you?
Um, better than I was yesterday. Um, and the day before that. I feel like each day gets a little easier to, like, deal with, if that's the best way to say it. Um I feel like it's something I'll always hold some kind of self-guilt about, but I feel like that's just, like, the nature of the beast and being a mom and, feeling like you've failed in a way as far as, like, yourself. I feel like I'll always hold some kind of self-guilt, but in the last 3 months, I've gained more peace about being able to openly talk about it and openly make the decision to wanna, like, help birth moms. Um, the last 3 months has been better than the years before, and I think that not that I've gained confidence in the situation, but knowing that there are other mothers out there just like me who feel the same way I do, um, but are terrified, like, I wanna help them, and I want to love on them and care about them because I wish I would have had that. And now that I do have that, like, that's been the one thing that has put my 2 feet back on the ground.
Is the love from the people who are your people.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that because, there are other parents out there, there's other moms out there that haven't told anyone.
Yeah.
That still no one knows.
Yeah.
And so now here you're saying, I want to help you,
Yeah.
and, this is our second podcast. We've already done one podcast with you.
Yeah.
And, you were not ready to release that yet.
No.
And I said from the beginning, if and when you're ready, we'll release it.
Yeah.
But if you're not, we will not. And we had it set to go.
Yeah.
And you had second thoughts, and we pulled it.
Yeah.
We pulled it immediately.
Yeah. I think, and that was only a month ago. I feel like I said, every day it gets easier, and I think that in even a short amount of time, in a month's time, like, I've gained so much more clarity, and I truly feel like, when I came up this weekend, like, I was honestly, like, terrified. I will not lie, 'cause I'm like, "These adoptive parents are probably gonna be like, 'Oh my gosh, why is she here?'" Like, I was terrified. But then when they truly just, like, rallied behind me, and they didn't care who I was. They didn't care that I was a birth mother. They didn't care that I
Well,
was
they cared, but you were just their people.
Yeah, like, what I mean is, like, it didn't matter to them who I was, but they loved me
Anyway,
regardless of who
yeah.
I was. And they have just given me a whole new outlook on this entire situation. And the positivity that can come from it is just more than I will ever be able to, like, explain, because I feel like in so many ways, like I've told you this, so many ways you could turn the pain from this situation into a purpose, you know, and I truly feel like there was a reason that people found out. There was a reason that it came to light. There was a reason that I surrendered, you know, and I don't feel like I knew that for so long, but I know that now. And I feel like that's what's driving this entire situation.
What would you say to someone that was in this situation,
Mm.
that was still pregnant, that was thinking about doing a safe surrender?
Yeah. It's okay to be scared. Uh, it's okay to not know what to do. And it's okay to feel like you don't know what you're going to do, but you're loved and you're valued. And all you have to do is call someone in the community of people that you don't even know exist. Will go millions of miles across the world to do whatever they can to help you. And, you know, I don't want to say like, you know, it's I feel like it's a double-edged sword, because if you don't want to surrender, that's okay. And if you just need some help, like that's okay too. But if you are truly like, if you truly feel like you can't go on and surrendering is what you want to do, like that's okay too.
Right.
And you will be okay one day, and your baby is going to be loved and cared for more than you will ever think is possible. But you will also be loved and cared for too. So God's got his hand no matter what.
So you know where your baby girl is. And does that bring you a little bit of peace knowing that she's safe?
Oh, yes, 100%. Oh, I know she is loved and cherished and safe and protected beyond words. If that is one word that I could stamp on the situation, it would be protected, because she is. And I could not have handpicked better people for her.
It looks like he handpicked those people for you.
Yeah.
Oh, see Harper.
She's like,
She doesn't like people crying.
I know.
And
I've held it together.
You've done very well. You have done very well. But now Harper feels your emotions, so
Yeah.
she comes over and she just wants to love on you for a minute, because she doesn't want anybody to ever be sad.
Yeah. They're tears of joy.
She's like, "Are you done?" You know, we talked about this before at when we interviewed you for the first podcast, and then we decided to stop the release of it.
Yeah.
I would love for you to run that part of this ministry.
Yeah.
I would love for you to run the part of the ministry that every safe haven organization doesn't have.
Yeah.
We don't have a birth mom support group
Yeah.
for surrendered infants.
Yeah.
There's so many support groups out there for babies who have been adopted,
Yeah.
you know, that mothers have placed them for adoption, but there's no support groups out there for mothers who have surrendered in our boxes or surrendered under safe haven.
Yeah.
And I think it's a different kind of need.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's needed. Like, I've said this to you before, but like, if I would have just had somebody who had been in my same situation, like if I knew that that person was out there and I could call them and feel no judgment, or feel like all they would do was support me, like I wish I would have had that. And I truly think like I've told you, I feel like this is the reason like it came to light, because there's not anything for mothers like that. And just as much as, you know, like you said, adoptive parents have support groups, and, children who go through adoption or those things have those people, like, those birth mothers deserve that too.
They do.
Yeah. And I think too, like, in being in the situation and being those birth mothers, like, you don't feel like you deserve that, but you do. Like, you deserve somebody to be there for you, and you deserve a space for yourself.
Does it bring you a little bit of peace talking about it?
Oh, yeah, it's so therapeutic. It is like, I don't have to pay for therapy.
Just come to Monica Kelsey's shop go on Beyond the Box once a week.
It is very therapeutic to talk about, and I feel like every time I talk about it, it gives me a little bit of more strength than what I had before, and gives me a little bit of peace and a little bit more hope, and it's just building every single day.
Well, I think you're more confident today than the first day I met you.
Oh, yeah.
I think your story is now your purpose.
Oh, 100%.
I think you have a story to tell, and I've always said that when people take their pain and they take their story and they put those two things together, purpose comes out of it, and it's making something better for someone else, which is exactly why I started Safe Haven Baby Boxes.
Yeah.
I see that for you.
I think too, like, you finally realize that your pain is the reason, like, God didn't give me any more than I could have handled.
And you were handling a lot.
Yeah. He met me where I was at and gave me the answer. And now he's using that to give me a purpose and a testimony that is going to change so many lives. And it already has. It's changed my life, And I've already, in a short amount of time, like, met so many people who I never had in my corner before. And I don't have a huge group of, people that I can turn to. And God has given me that in a very short amount of time. And it's only going to get bigger from here.
I told you earlier, wouldn't it be amazing if you and I could speak at conferences together?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's full circle. And I think that's, like, the one thing that I've, like, learned to appreciate is, like, from beginning to end, like, you had the surrender side of it, and you had the adoptive parent side of it, and you got to see those kids with their adoptive parents and how they're flourishing. But now you get the side of it that's not always looked at as purposeful.
Right.
I think it's given definitely a good new outlook on things.
Well, we're proud of you. We're proud of you for telling us your story. We're proud of you for contacting us, and we're proud of you for keeping your daughter safe.
Oh, yeah.
I said that in the video to you then.
Yeah.
And I'll continue to say that to you today.
Yeah.
Do you still listen to that video?
Yep. Yeah. Pretty often. I feel like it gave me the confidence I needed in a time when I didn't have any. And if that's one thing that birth mothers need to hear in a time like that, it's that video. Because it's every birth mother. Every single one, you post a new video, and it's tailored to them. It's never the same thing. It's never scripted. It's never the same words of, what people think it's tailored to that person. And those videos are meant for those moms. And I hope that every single birth mother has seen every single video that is geared towards them, because it gives you a sense of peace. It truly does.
I hope so.
You're doing good. You're doing good things.
I should tell you the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on Beyond the Box. I've grown to fall in love with you, girl. I can't wait to see what Christ has in store for us. I'm sure it is going to be epic and huge. And I'm ready to sit back and grab some popcorn and
movie.
Watch it grow.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
This is Monica Kelsey from Beyond the Box. You heard it today from a birth mom's own words, the impact that Safe Haven Baby Boxes is having across this country. If you would like to support us, you can go to our website at shbb.org and make a donation today. God bless you guys. We'll see you soon.